Good evening. Welcome to the Brooke Cerda talk show with your hostess, Brooke Cerda Guzman. Today it is April 1st, 2018. Well, it only just started because right now it's 2:04 in the morning. I just got home. I went to see the Black Panther movie. Uh, I'm just gonna say, what I think. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like it at all. I really believe that it's a big attack against not only Black Americans, is like everybody, because I mean what I saw over there, I just saw like stuff was like very, very unrealistic. I'm Mexican, and I grew up uh you know with trying to learn our Mexican history and stuff. So I know for a fact that, I mean, not for a fact because I wasn't back there, right? I mean, I know that everywhere up until probably, I don't know how long. It could have been like 50 years ago, 100 years ago. I'm not sure about that. I'm not a formal historian. I'm an oral historian. I just say, what I see, how I see it. You don't mean it's the truth. You don't mean it's nothing, because only time will tell. When somebody make real investigations about what's happening in the world, then or what's happening in this case with with the situation. I mean, like, but I mean, it just seemed very, very unlikely, according to just my basic studies I have about pre-Columbian history. And even right now, I mean, even I'm gonna tell you a story about my country, what's happening right now. Our so-called president, Enrique Peña Nieto, has done so much harm to our country. He basically had doubled the double probably, I don't know, I say double, but it's just like way, way more than double. I see somebody. Hi Julie, good evening. Some people might not like what I'm gonna say right now, but I just felt I have to put it out there. The situation right now in my home country, it's extremely dire. Extremely dire. I could have done a little bit more research just to show you a couple of pictures, of what's going on every day. We are losing an average of about 80 Mexicans a week. And in some of the most, horrific ways. Just to, I mean, what was it like last week? They had they show a picture of it was about 15 Mexicans chopped up into pieces in the back of a pickup truck, right? We had 2 weeks ago, we had a case of Nefertiti and Grecia, 14 and 16-year-old little girls executed by the military. And they was asked to get on their knees, and then they shot them. We know this because somebody took pictures from afar And, the government continued to say that's not true, that didn't happen. Taking a page from, the United States policies. But all that, about 5.5 years of that. I mean, I say 5.5 years, but it's been more like 50 years, 50 to 60 years of that. Of course, now it's more visible because, social media. But what has really infuriated us was the fact that he allowed himself to be disrespected by the so-called United States president. Yeah, the orange one. It was leaked, the content of a phone call. And, actually there's been leaked like 3 phone calls, and I'm not going to repeat them. So he, ever since the damn wall, because, this motherfucker is off the wall, So ever since the damn wall, it came to, a bunch of, disrespect after disrespect. And that's what have awakened a lot of Mexicans. Not the fact that, we have, how much is it? I think it's like 70, no, 80. I don't know. Well, it's like at least 50 million Mexicans living below the poverty level. That didn't cut it. That didn't cut it. It was when he allowed to be disrespected because he's representing us that most Mexicans wash their hands off him, and just that really boiled our skin, our blood. There was another incident of that he allowed disrespect recently. He received Jared Kushner in the National Palace. That was another, humiliating moment for us, because he is basically a nobody, and he was received by the president. And that was like a month ago. We're still talking about that. And the whole media went crazy. The whole media have not gone crazy with the fact that, or debt, external debt has, exponentially, keep growing. No, it was the fact that he had the fucking nerve to receive a fucking nobody cracker, because nobody. It's a no. Jared Kushner is the nobody. But our so-called president, Enrique Peña Nieto, received him in the National Palace. So I say that because, there's no way your stupid movie will ever fly in the face of reality, actuality, real life, But it is flying in the face of reality right now, because obviously colonization has been escalating really fast. And this is what I've been talking about in almost 3 years that I've been on this channel, telling you about, how, all that, I mean, now I know it's called, I think, psychological warfare. I didn't know what it was called, but it's just like, I really felt like walking out of the theater, because it was just no way. I mean, I've seen like about 20, hold on one second. Philippe Mateos show Black Panther. Let me see. One of the ones that stuck with me um, was Aeropolis. It was the one with Mr. Philip Matthews, the Philip Matthews show, which is one of my favorites. Unfortunately, I don't know what's going on. The other day, he had Rachel Dolezal talking about, Black issues, believe it or not. Oh gosh, he don't put the name of the guest. I'm sorry. I don't have time to look at her name. Um, oh, yeah, he don't. Yeah, so, what is her? Oh, well, she's right here. Hopefully, we get to hear her name. I mean, they write her name? No. No, only when they're not on. Oh, wait. When they're speaking, the name is in the. Oh, yes. Yes, it is here. If I'm not mistaken, that will be Miss Izili. She is an amazing, outstanding um, liberator for her country, Haiti. She has survived different assassinations attempts from the Europeans. She's a lawyer, and she gave an outstanding perspective when it came to. I'm gonna close it out right now because she compared it to the Forbidden City. She compared it to the Forbidden City in China, and she said it. It stuck with me. Her words that she said that sorry. Oh gosh. I am broadcasting from another account. Oh well, so I'll make a photocopy. And well, anyway, I'm surprised that somebody's watching because this channel, I didn't even try to build it up because it's really hard to build up a channel right now. The capitalism shit is just that if you don't have at least, I think, 10,000 views a week, they won't even promote your shit, nothing. So it's a miracle that anybody ever watched my shit ever, because it is like, it was that they got together all the big ass YouTubers and they said it's like, if they don't have at least, you have to have, I think, at least 10,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers. I forgot. No, I think it's 10,000 subscribers and 1,000 views per week, at least. So otherwise, you don't even exist, in this world. So that's a new policy, in case you don't even know. So now people are making videos. About whatever bullshit. So the quality of the material suffered tremendously. So she saying, Mrs. Zilli said that reminded her of the sacred city, the Forbidden City in China, where the elites, they live in the utmost luxury and whatnot, and right outside, she said, is the most amazing poverty surrounded by it. So and that was kind of like the reason I went to see the movie, because I heard in my country we have right now a huge fight, because we're about to get ripped off again. And when I say ripped off again, I'm talking about, it's going to be, the damage is going to be like $500 million, give and take, at least $500 million. in a country that has already been sucked off, you know, of not even sucked off, because they haven't really sucked off all resources, trust me. Especially the South is extremely rich. As a matter of fact, if you don't know this, it was in the south of Mexico by Yucatan, where, you know, one of the whatever meteorites, asteroids, whatever, you know, hundreds of millions of years ago, it fell right there. So we have oil galore. They've been campaigning saying that our oil is shit, our oil is nothing. Meanwhile, we are being bullied into selling all the oil to the Europeans in this country and abroad for peanuts. And then we have to buy them the gasoline. They refined it, and then we have to buy the gasoline, like, you know, at a very high price. And the reason that we're doing this, so that, you know, the Mexican elites, they get their cut. So they're making, you know, millions of dollars, the Mexican elites. And it's basically like, you know, we're selling, if you know, another example I can put you, it would be selling oranges to the United States, you know, really cheap, and then buying from the United States orange juice, extremely expensive. And believe it or not, the gas is cheaper in this country than in my country, which is an oil country. So it's a total slap in the face. It's like, you know, like if Venezuela, you know, that's one of the reasons why, you know, people talk shit about Venezuela. But the only thing that, and I'm going to talk about Venezuela for a little while. But, you know, the only thing that they are demonizing Venezuela is because Venezuela refused to be a bitch of the Europeans. So, I'm gonna continue. So that was a very insightful, you know, commentary of, you know, the Black Panther on the Philip Matthews shows, and that's one of the ones that really stuck me. And as I say, I went to see it because, you know, like we're about to get ripped off again, big time, because this administration is on their way out, and they want to live with, you know, full pockets, full hands, everything. So they are supposedly building an airport, you know, in the middle of the lake. You know, it's called Texcoco. Well, it used to be called Texcoco because these motherfuckers, they dry it out. They dry it out because they're selling also our water. So we're actually kind of like running out of water right now because, you know, all the you know, the beer companies, the whatever, you know, shit, they just come to my country, and these Mexican elites, they just like, oh sure, you know, like you can you know, you can whatever, you get the concessions, and you take all the water you need. I don't know if you ever heard, you probably didn't even hear about, there was a big fight for water in Mexicali, which is in Baja California, which a lot of people, they know it as a tourist resort, and you know, Baja. And so there's a lot of, you know, the brave people, water protectors. And it was awful. And we just learned last week also that, you know, they find cyanide in the rivers now because of these the beer companies that they want to put in their headquarters over there by Caborca and stuff. So it's awful. It is awful. It's like, you know, and you know, that cyanide wasn't there before. So now what the hell are we going to drink, right? So this administration wants to go with the billions of dollars. There's no fucking way they're going to build an airport. They started building constructing the wall. listen, the wall that's going to be surrounding that area. And it had a budget of, I think it was 100 million pesos or something like that. Or no, it was like, I don't know. But the thing is that next thing we know, the budget when increase, like, I don't know. I don't know about numbers, but it increased like tremendously, like 10,000%. And that's just from the wall. And that's how they do everything. That's how they do everything. They say, we're going to build, we're going to do this, we're going to, and they take out these loans in our name, in the people's name, in the people's name. They give us the tab to us. It's like somebody, taking you out for dinner, and then, they have caviar, Dom Perignon, whatever, and then just take off and leave you there with the bill, right? So we already have a lot of debts like that. One of the most famous ones was the Foba Proa. That was in the 90s. All these motherfuckers, they just took off and they left the bill to us that even our great-grandchildren are going to have to be paying that debt. And now they're about to, leave us another huge debt for this airport, which, it's called, they're calling it a Aeropolis, a Aeropolis. So, and one of our bloggers, it was called Chapucero, he was like talking, 2 days ago. And he said like, oh, I read this article from, from this guy, about the airport. And that's going to be in Mexico City. I've been talking about Mexico City, by the way. I'm not. So, and I Google Aeropolis, which you can Google it. And it is a thing. It is a thing. I don't know what thing it is. But I mean, as soon as I heard, Aeropolis, I thought it was like, well, that sounds just like Wakanda, which I have not seen it. So, but I saw it tonight. and, like I say, you can look it up. I think it's from, it starts, I think, from 2000, 2001, in cities all over the world, in Japan, and stuff like that. What goes over there? What goes on over there? We don't know what goes on over there. I'm a click just on the Wikipedia, and because, like I say, I haven't done my research because, I'm not even supposed to be here. I have a lot of homework to do in my own country. I have to be on a Mexican Twitter. I even remove my account on the app, from the English language, because I have to be just focused on that. But I mean, I get to Stefan Clark in a second, which is kind of like the stuff that I just could not stay away for, The Aeropolis 2001 was proposed a 500-story high-rise building over Tokyo's Bay in Japan, envisioned by the Aeropolis was proposed in 1989 amid a spate of similar projects for incredibly large buildings. I don't know. That was it. It's not very, but they have one in Spain and Andalusia, Aeropolis, and I'm not gonna get into that. But knowing a little bit about my country, I can guarantee you that it sounds like, because they want to put our so-called president, Peña Nieto. he has he bought a private plane, not a jet, a plane that nobody even got. You know, I think maybe only rivals the you know, the Arab Emirates or something. You know, it's obscene. It's obscene. I think they're like, I forgot the price, but the price is obscene. And that's not only his plane that is a problem, it's all the private planes of all the political elites. And they're bleeding us dry, you know, because they want to live a lifestyle that is, you know, every day they get busted. Either like they are wearing a you know, like $50,000 watch, or they get caught with a, you know, $10,000 handbag. You know, it's insane. It's obscene. Every day, you know, you open Mexican Twitter, somebody is getting you know, yell at in the street, in a restaurant. You know, you kill our people, you monster, you this, you that. It's just insane, the amount of corruption. They are like, you know, beyond cynical, because you have to understand that they are like coached by the United States government. You know, that's why they were picked. The, you know, Vicente Fox, which, I mean, a lot of people got to know him because, you know, he was branding himself. You know, in this country, he wrote a book and whatever. He tried to come out. You know, I had to, you know, tell people, please ignore that motherfucker. His administration killed. I think it was the death toll. I think it was 400 and something. It's like 500,000 people. I think his administration. And his administration was one of the least deadliest, you know. I mean, that's so you can get an idea. And it was leaked last week, a video here in I think it was in LA, where he started fighting with the hecklers. You know, he's like, now he's calling out your mama. He go like, whatever. I mean, unbelievable. And they are all like this because, you know, our candidate, I mean, the only candidate that we have, which is, I don't know how you say lawyer. I mean, say lawyer, attorney at law. I don't know how you say that. El licenciado Andrés Manuel López Obrador, which is, you know, they already stole the elections twice. And you know, one of those was Vicente Fox, who wanted to put him in jail for bogus charges. He had already said that he's going to be, you know, inspecting all these lifetime pensions. I'm not sure if that's how you said it, but every ex-president and their family, they have, you know, a salary for doing nothing. And it is 5 million pesos. The dollar is like 20 pesos to $1. So you can do the math. It's obscene. It's obscene. Not even the politicians here in the United States, not even President Obama, get that kind of pension. So, you know, our president, that, you know, I haven't told you, but, you know, July 1st, we have presidential elections. Actually, today we start the presidential campaigns. And I mean, they already, even the pre-campaigns, they've been dirty as fuck. They're just making all these ghost calls to hundreds of thousands of people and telling them lies. Basically, I mean, they're short of telling that, you know, López Obrador, I don't know, eats babies for breakfast. That's how pathetic. And one of the things is because, all these ex-presidents that we are, they're kept motherfuckers. They're kept idiots, from a starving country. And we have to give them 5 million pesos a month. And so they have, I think like Vicente Fox, it was like, he has like, I forgot, like 20 housekeepers or something. They live, a life of, madness. So, so that's why a lot of the ex-presidents, it's going to be a vicious campaigns, presidential campaigns. It's going to be vicious. But even when they got nothing, but they own the media, they've been instructed the same way. They recreate the same thing in every country. You must own all the media. You must, keep telling them the same lies until they become true. But now we have social media, which, it is great, but at the same time, we must understand that it's not going to be lasting a long time. It's not. It's going to be what should I say? They need to escalate really quick because of that. Because they know a lot of people, we are finding out the truth. So they're going to be like, as much as they're coming for the other half of my country. They already stole half of my country, and now they want to come with at least 3 states, the largest states like Chihuahua, Sonora. And for what, you might ask? For what? Anything from nuclear testing to medical testing to, make it like Siberia. Right now, all the shit that's happening in Latin America, and you don't get not even a note. There's a block on Latin America, unless it's Venezuela, which is that every day, the demonizing campaign propaganda. But other than that, I'm sure you don't even know what's happening in Honduras. I said it before, they have the constitution is basically the same one as ours. And it strictly prohibits the, what's it called? That re-election. Sorry. It prohibits re-election completely. So, but the United States sent their committee, and they said those elections was valid and everything. It was basically a coup. So now, in Venezuela, people, are burning shit down, hoping to get any headlines. Not so much. The same thing in Panama. My country, and there's no coverage. So it was pretty strategic. They want everybody to hate my country, and everybody drank the damn Kool-Aid. Everybody was just like, sure, whatever. Yes. They send their worst, and they are rapists and thieves, like so much that I recently got accused of stealing, believe it or not. And I'm a, fucking socialist. I hate money, but but it is a, these tactics, they never seem to get old, so going back to the Black Panther movie, I have, like I say, I had already know what it was about, and I saw a lot of spoiler alerts and stuff, so I thought it was exaggerating. I really kind of thought, because there was no possible, there's no way in hell that anything like that's gonna fly. I mean, lie after lie after lie after lie. I mean, and so T'Challa lost the battle in one of the most embarrassing ways. And, you know, but, you will think that everybody, especially, sorry, let me see. So you so you will think that sorry about that. Oops. I cannot lose my train of thought. I just wanted to see something. So you would think that, they will be happy. They will be happy to see that. Wow. Killmonger, a dream come true of a leader who knew the enemy inside out and worked for the enemy, was so prepared beyond anybody's dreams, working for the CIA, working for, like, whatever. And he said it. I've been preparing myself mentally, physically, and everything for this moment, and to take charge, because, he learned, because it showed in the movie that he was, reading the text from his father about Wakanda and stuff. So, and then, getting, education now that is so accessible, now that we know how, colonialism operates, all the time in every country. So you will think that, as soon as he lost the battle, I hate that word because it sounds like a battle. The fight, he lost the fight. You will think that, wow, everybody will be like so impressed. This is, a great leader. And no. Everybody, started crying. It started crying. I mean, my favorite character was the elder. I read she decided when she was 80 years old to pursue her lifelong dream to be an actress. And she got, this big break at 92 years old. What are you doing, David? I just heard he was like digging something. He made a mess. My apartment is a mess, and he made a bigger mess. Well, that's okay. I love it. I mean, that means that he's healthy, I guess. He jumps and whatever. So she was my favorite because she had such a presence. She only got, like, I think, like 3 lines in the movie, but she was like, so regal, so royal. And I was like, immediately she commanded, authority. And but I think that she should have said, when Angela Bassett lost it, she should have said, take her away. Just take her away, because that's just so damn embarrassing. And that's just so damn embarrassing. And you can read from every, culture in the world. That shit is embarrassing. I said it one time before. I said it, that they used to tell us, I think it was Granada. I think it was Granada, the last city that they lost. The Spaniards used to call them Moors. So the last king, he went to his mother crying. And the mother said, no, it's like, don't cry like a woman. You was not able to defend like a man. So the mother, she was a mother. She was not going to be an enabler. On top of that, it's just like, there's nothing to commend here. You lost what our ancestors, for 800 years have built in Spain, in the so-called Spain now, which, we know they opened the first university in Europe, the University of Salamanca. They gave them all the culture. It was amazing. And even some of these now, I mean, like, I'm not going to say that the Spaniards, they were the ones that gave it to us, but I mean, whatever the Spaniards got right now, obviously, it's because, I mean, it's a known fact that they even used to have a bridge to Africa. So everything, Spain is Africa. Unfortunately, it was invaded by imposters. And the same thing is happening in my country. We have so many Europeans, I mean, like, coming in every day into our country and naturalizing them. There's no problem for anybody to get naturalized. And that's why I said in all of my videos, mi casa es su casa. For all Black Americans in this country, I mean, we are next door. It's like, come and my ex, actually, he moved there and he's been very happy for like 5 years. I mean, we only dated for like 6 months. It didn't work out. But, I turned him into my culture so much that he started going every 6 months. And he said, oh, they treat me like a king. So it's like he kept going. And then he said, fuck it. He quit his job and he moved to Mexico City. So what was I going to say? So there's no way after a defeat like that. One of the things that immediately shocked me, because it was like, I mean, it didn't shock me. Like, it was like they were so unprepared. They did not even know what to do because they never been challenged. That generation never been challenged. And the father who had died did nothing. It seemed like very much like Mr. President Nelson Mandela, who just like, just forgive everybody and stuff. This let's not rock the boat anymore. And I mean, that kind of like came to my mind. I'm not saying that it's true, but that came to mind. So, I mean, they was totally unprepared. You can see like the woman general, she said like, oh no, he is a royal. You have to watch out. He's a royal. And then she forget that he is a royal. I'm talking about Killmonger. And then started like treating him like, he's nothing. And when he won the throne, fair and square. I mean, it turned out that he didn't die because they saved him. And I mean, I thought that was really weird because, we see a Lupita Nyong'o, Nakia, I think that was her name in the movie, that she started like when the movie started, it was like saying, it was like, oh gosh, we got to do more. I got to, it's like, she said like, oh no, I just came for the burial or something. I forgot. I think it was that. And I have to bounce because, I have to go, away and help people out because we ain't doing shit for other people. So she started like, like a really like, wow, and she's Mexican. So I was like, so that was one of the reasons I went to see, she was born in my country, and extremely honored that such a brilliant woman, she was born in my country, and she, don't deny it. So, and then when Killmonger come in and say like, hey, this is a time, I've seen like, how many hundreds of millions he say? I forgot, there's like tons of millions of people throughout the world that look just like us. And they say, oh, fuck them. It's like, no, it's just like, they're not us. It's like, yeah, but, they started here. And it's just like, and it's so fucked up. We got all the technology. We got the I forgot the name of the metal, the mineral slipped. So we got that, and we can do a lot. All we got to do is just, use the same tactics. We already got the recipe. The way they come, they came into my country. I don't know if you ever heard about, Operation Fast and Furious, which tremendously escalated. It was leaked, and it was in the WikiLeaks, that during President Obama's administration, they injected millions of dollars and big time, tons of big caliber weapons to the cartels. And as usually, then they just get a big bucket of popcorn and they just watch it as, we die and then we get lost. And then they come and they say, look at those damn Mexicans. They are violent, they're ratchet, they're rapists, and ha, 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 ha. That's their MO. So, and we don't learn. So he said, it's like, we can do it. We can do it. I mean, like, all we got to do is just empower them. They wouldn't even want to hear him. They didn't even want to hear him. They didn't want to hear Killmonger. Immediately, they was like, oh my gosh, it's like, no, we are not going to be threatening. We survived here for, all this time because, we are like a mouse. We don't even make a noise. And I was like, wow, it's just like, that didn't add up. That didn't add up. I mean, it wouldn't have added up. It would have added up if there was like some, like, the characters, like the mother, Angela Bassett character, she would say, and even Lupita, she would say, oh shit, that's so embarrassing. But, I like it the way things are over here, I think that was the line. I think that was the first line of, Killmonger, you look so damn comfortable over here. So it's like, I want to try it. I want to try it. And they was all shocked. It's like, we never been challenged. We never gone through shit. Supposedly when they first originated, there was like, 4 or 5 tribes that they was contesting, the power. So, but for the longest time, they had been playing it the safest way, So to me, it's not very clear, but I think when it comes to Killmonger's father, I don't think he betrayed Wakanda. I think unfortunately, he got betrayed, and that's how the explosion came about. But I kind of like believe, because he was reading his father's books. So his father he was a liberator. He was a liberator, Killmonger's father. To me, in my eyes, that's what I saw. You have to understand that English is my second language, and sometimes people, they speak really fast, and I go like, okay, I just do my head like this. So I mean, So, I mean, they was just shocked. It's like, what should we do? It's just like, what's the protocol? But it was like, there was like, oh my gosh, and then they Killmonger kills Forrest Whitaker, So, I mean, he was practicing already, what the crackers been teaching him, how to come and destabilize. He burns all the sacred flowers and stuff. And which that was awful, but you got to show it's not about that. It's about to show that you mean business. It's all about dignity. Power is all about dignity. I mean, like, even for a country, when a country start to, go down, look what happened to Libya. Immediately, Libya is a case that, as soon as, they started getting rid of their chemical weapons and stuff like that, all the damn countries, like, they came, they sent their jackals, to Libya and start destabilizing here, destabilizing there. And it's horrible. And it's horrible. This is why, a lot of people are like, like my country, like, we are so wealthy and rich beyond my dreams. We have beaches. We have the most amazing beaches on the east and the west. We have Caribbean beaches. We have tons of gold, believe it or not. People are like, they wanted to believe that Mexico is poor as fuck, So no, we have tons of golds and lots of minerals, and probably some even freaking minerals that we have not even discovered. We have forest. Most of the concessions are from the mining and the deforestation is more. The concessions are mostly Canadian and Chinese to China. So they go like, okay, so give us the last deal. This motherfucker, the governor of Oaxaca, Murat, that's his name. The governor of Oaxaca, we will call it over here Oaxaca, whatever. He just made a deal with Canada for $89 million for Canada to go and dig whatever they want from the soil. And I think that includes Oaxaca, Chiapas, I'm not sure, Tabasco. So unbelievable. Whatever they can get. They don't even have to go like, hey, we're gonna be like showing the Mexicans, this is what we're taking. No, they take whatever. We don't even own the soil. So that's how embarrassing and humiliating it is. So to me, that, you see that, he comes a killmonger, or the killmonger. I don't know how you say that. And challenge their power, and makes him look like an idiot in what, 15 minutes? I mean, it's just like, and he can say, this is your king. This is your king. Are you serious? This is your king. And yes, still, Angela Bassett was crying like a bitch. It's like, oh my God, the sister, oh my God, and Lupita, like, my God. It's just like, so right there, I mean, there was no royal behavior. No royal behavior. If you, I mean, I grew up, like I say, like, we even had the comic books, about the Mayan Empire, the Aztec Empire, and, I got, for a long time, got very into it. So, I mean, I don't know if you heard about, the Mayan cities that, mysteriously abandoned cities. No, it's just that, that was the tactic. That was the tactic. The Mayans, I mean, they're direct descendants of the Egyptians. They was like, when the Spaniards, the Europeans, they conquer one city, the next city was already ready to confront them. It was just that city that was there. It was just to make them make them tired and deplete their ammunitions and stuff. This is why we still have, a pretty substantial Mayan population in Latin America, not only in my country. So, and the other tactic was that, they knew when they was coming, come on, because it was like, they didn't even make a sound when they walk in the forest. And the South, especially back then, there was a lot of forest. And that's another one of the reason why, a lot of the Mayan population survived, because, it was too hot and moist. I'm talking about like, 100 degrees and humidity in the jungle. So, so that was another tactic. So you know when they're coming, and so you're totally prepared, and you can make the decision. It's like, okay, so we're gonna be like have these war tactics and blah blah blah, or the war tactic is gonna be that they're gonna come in and the city is gonna be totally emptied out. They're totally emptied out. People, they have no even idea, no idea, what it's in what it's in my country. They have no idea what is in my country. That steal from information. I'm not saying that people should not be still, focused in Egypt the way they are, but there's been a lot of, still a lot of information. It's a lie that all the codices or the codex, I don't know how you say that in English, it was burnt. There's still a lot of stuff down there, and to be discovered. They have discovered, a lot of more pyramids, and they barely even make the news. But there's a lot to be discovered, which, I mean, it might not be the right time to be uncovered. But there's a lot of wisdom and technology. So to me, in my opinion, I feel like Wakanda, they have plenty of time to abandon Wakanda. They have plenty of time to already have another Wakanda in another secluded location in the middle of, where nobody knows. It's totally unrealistic that they told that damn cracker, where it is. I mean, that's another very realistic when they heard, especially as soon as they heard that the other cracker had only one arm, was telling him, Wakanda is full of these minerals. Wakanda is full of technology. Wakanda is this. That should be like, you know what? We got to kill you. Because, I mean, everybody knows, even when there's suspicions, what was the George W., the other so-called president here in the United States? He went into Iraq because, weapons of mass destruction, and it was nothing. It was nothing. So you're gonna be telling me that they're gonna let him go after he knows the whole truth. Even if there's a suspicion, that's enough. This is something that you don't see, or you don't want to see. For the past 4 months, especially for 3 months, Venezuela has been on the constant threat of bombings from the United States. And guess who is demanding these bombings in Venezuela? The Venezuelan elites in this country and in Venezuela, that they're begging the crackers to come in and take over. Why? Because they've been giving them a lot of money. It was just recently revealed that this administration of Enrique Peña Nieto paid almost $100 million to all the reporters, all the newspapers, not all of them, but most newspapers, most of course all the television channels, all the so-called historians. They have their own private historians to feed us whatever they want to feed us. So and this is a developing country like my country. So imagine what this country do. So I mean, it is insulting. It is insulting. A lot of times when I see a lot of I've seen a lot of Saneta TV and stuff, always, just saying like, oh, it's just because black people are weak. Black people, I mean, it was all colonized by the same people. We still have the same common enemy. So it's not that easy. It is not that easy. Like, when you give people so much money and power and privilege, they want. And then the other thing is that the government, threatened, if you betrayed me, you and your family are going to disappear. So it's not that easy. As a lot of people think like, oh, it's just that this and that, I mean, it's like, we say in Al-Anon, I mean, we check out if you're feeling terminally unique, because, that's, then we know that we are lost. Once we feel like, we are terminally unique, there's no help, because nobody can help us, because you're going to be like, oh, no, but they haven't suffered what we suffer. They haven't known what. And I'm not saying that is not true. Black Americans have suffered the most, and the most cruel, and the biggest injustice in the world have been committed every day to people of African descent throughout the world. I mean, I said in my channel, they appropriated all your culture. They sign their name, and they don't even understand what they stole from Africa and from Egypt, right? I mean, especially from Egypt. I mean, we know Egypt is in Africa, as much as they want to deny it. So it's kind of like, to go see that movie when we have one of our countries, because, that's how we see each other in Latin America. I mean, until now. I mean, it's changing now. It's changing. We have now Colombia and Peru ganging up against Venezuela and making up a lot of shit. Unfortunately, they sold out, Venezuela and Peru. Just because, there was promised help. Immediately, the United States has promised help and given, millions of dollars, for the Venezuelan refugees. When it's a fucking lie. Venezuela has more Colombian refugees than the other way around. But they want to make it look like, people are escaping Venezuela. Recently, there was a solemn commemoration of the passing of the Comandante Chavez, the great Hugo Chavez, in Venezuela, and one of our leaders, from the people's leaders, Licenciado Fernandez Noroña, went to Venezuela, and he even posted a picture at the airport. He said, like, he posted several pictures. He said, like, I'm waiting in line to get on the plane. The plane is packed going to Venezuela. And it was like, really? It's just like, they feed you whatever they want. So this movie is very, very unrealistic. Very unrealistic. I don't know any peoples, especially back then, or I don't know. I mean, it's a very modern. It is very realistic for today's days. But yeah, I guess it is like that. I guess it's presenting, today's really, because at the end of the movie, they go and like say like, oh, but we're gonna be like taking over the nonprofit industrial complex, and they say, oh, we bought all these buildings and we're gonna be doing schooling and whatever, and you go like, wow, that's the solution for real? I mean, there's been like a lot of those already. And what are the fruits? What are the results of all these, nonprofits, which supposedly they're empowering people? They're like, I taken trainings for these, trainings for that. And when I graduated, and I could say, okay, so who want to gather up? And it's like, whatever. Oh, no, that was just for like, we just took that training just for. So they're not planning to use the trainings or anything, so it's sad, and it's just very sad, and I'm going to tie it up to, the protests, because I went to see the protest. I went to the protest, that it was like, what is it, 4 days? Friday. It was Friday. I think it was a protest for Stephon Clark and Alton Sterling. I mean, I was hesitant as well to make a video about that, But when I see that they posted the video from BuzzFeed, I mean, first of all, they caught a very, very different reality of what I saw. It is it it strikes me because, you know, the journalist who is narrating the protest, she seemed to be on face, and she's black. So I go, and I mean, there was all kids, which it was really good. It was really nice to see all kids. But when I arrived, I arrived like 10 minutes before 7 p.m., which started at 7 p.m. On 59th Street and, you know, Central Park South and Central Park West, right in that intersection. And I saw that everybody was just like in a party. Everybody was just like, hi, how you been? Mwah, mwah, ha, 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 ha. And I was like, really? I mean, and, you know, that was really, really odd. Really odd. But like I said, you know, I started watching the video from BuzzFeed, which is like almost like mine. I took my videos is 1 hour and 1 hour. What I saw was unbelievably disrespectful and unacceptable. I saw, you know, police talking about us like we were shit in front of us. At one point, this Nazi-looking cop, he started like shoving their finger at us like this. It's like, duh, la, la. I don't know. Like I say, English is my second language. I don't understand what they were saying, but you know, we keep getting stopped. We keep getting stopped because they didn't want us to obviously take over the streets. They wanted to go on the sidewalk, blah blah blah. And this motherfucker, he kept going. I was like, and then I got so tired. I said, like, you don't do that. I told him, you don't do that. And nobody seemed to have a problem with that. I said, like, you don't shove their finger in our faces. You don't talk about, like, you know, like dust. He was like, oh, he looked like one of those movie guys, you know. And so I started doing the same thing. You, whatever. We pay your damn salary. You don't talk to us like that. You know, it was like, and at one point there was like I mean, they had like tons of tons of police on bicycles and tons of police on motorcycles. Plus, they have 2 helicopters flying really low above us. At one point, like, you know, couldn't even hear it. It was like, you know, like if it was criminals or something. You know, that alone, it was just so at one point there was like all the guys in the bicycle, it was like corralling us in the you know, so we don't get out of the sidewalk. But it was a lot of us, so there was running people over. And I was kept yelling, you're running people over, you know, just for doing that, you know. I mean, like, that's not a good tactic because, you know, I mean, you're not supposed to even like touch people. I mean, either you are arresting people, whatever, you know, that's a different problem, a different case. But we was like, unfortunately, it was only like about like 1,500 protesters. I was hoping that it was going to be more like, you know, Eric Garner, Mike Brown's, you know, and I was hoping that it was going to take the highway, the West Side Highway or something. But it was very few. It was very few, and it was mostly white. It was mostly white, and I mean, like, you know, it just showed you right there that, you know, these are dangerous times, and people, they're like saying like, you know, why should we get out there, you know, when they've been doing it for a long time. And I don't know if the organizers have anything to do with that. It was organized by the Shut It Down coalition, which they have a protest every Monday. They call it People's Mondays, So, I mean, I don't know. It really seemed like very, disorganized. Um, as always, they don't have petitions. They don't have like, we demand this. Nobody read. Some of the speakers, you couldn't even hear them, which I mean, I thought that was very infuriating. If you're a speaker, you have to, give it, 1,000%. So you make your point and the whole thing, at one point, somebody was just whispering, reading something. I don't know. I was surprised. I saw a little bit of my video, and I was surprised. It's like the camera, the tablet actually got more than I got from my. So, but I don't know if you can understand it. It's like, so yeah, there was no demands. I mean, I don't know if there was demands. Like I said, I didn't hear the whole thing, but it should be demands, and it should be like, this is what we are demanding, or I mean, I don't know. I noticed there was a lot of people missing that I've seen a lot of protests. I didn't see nobody from Black Lives Matter of Greater New York, which they have been very active in the past year. But I really don't know. I seen, so and it seemed very gay. It seemed like most of these kids was gay, so there was no room for black straight men. Apparently there was black straight men, but there was not like, and this is been the common denominator for all the protests. This is why I don't go to the protests, because it's a bunch of white people just taking over, doing whatever the fuck they want. It's just very, very upsetting. Let me play you a little bit of the beginning of the protest. I'm gonna skip it a few times so you can hear. I don't know. You're gonna hear what you're gonna hear. So 2 hours, but it was very triggering. You see, like even the black kids are with a bunch of white people, and some of these white people are supposedly outraged, but they look like very happy. So when they're speaking, so
hundreds of people are gathering to mourn the loss of Stephon Clark. Stephon Clark was a 22-year-old black man. He was a father of two, and he was killed by two Sacramento police officers in his own grandmother's backyard. He was shot at 20 times. And the police officers allegedly mistook his cell phone as a firearm. All right, so guys, please leave your comments, any questions, would love to answer them. And yeah.
I don't know why she's laughing, smiling. Oh, that's not it. I hate Periscope. Oh, we can forward it over here. I skip a little bit.
Hi, that's a super cool sign. My name is Megan. I'm with BuzzFeed News, and I'm doing a live show. I was wondering if I could just ask you a couple questions about why you're here today. Oh, no worries. Respect. Excuse me, sir.
So it's kind of like the Rainbow Coalition. It's like.
Cool. So, what's your name, sir?
I'm Alex Shah.
And why are you here today?
To protest systemic racism and institutions in this country will support it.
Sure. And so a lot has happened these past couple days.
Yeah.
This last week, a day ago, we found out that Alton Sterling, the officers that killed him, are not being charged, and then this happened. So, how are you feeling right now?
So I'm pretty upset, honestly. Mainly just because you see all these things showing all these different people who have been killed time and time again throughout history, throughout the past 20 years, saying never forget. And there's just so many people who die each year because of this violence. And it's upsetting to think that every single week and every single month, there's multiple protests for a new victim every single day.
And what about Stephon particularly, really upset you?
fact that he was shot in his backyard. I mean, it just upsets me that so many other incidents, the very least the police could see him or something, but they just shot him while he was in his own backyard. Didn't ask him questions. They just went right ahead.
And like, why do you think like this issue? So this like, why do you think like March for Our Lives have gotten so much attention, whereas this hasn't been getting as much mainstream attention? Celebrities have not been endorsing this.
Well, I feel that, I guess, in this country, when mass shootings happen, specifically in school, it affects the whole country more, I suppose, because it's directing right at the youth. Whereas when these things happen, sometimes they're not reported until months after they happen. You don't even hear about them weeks after. And I guess you can just, sorry. I feel like that's part of the reason, just because these happen so frequently, that there's just so many of these protests, so many people, innocent black men, innocent black women, it's innocent people in general get killed unjustly by police, and the officers never get charged or indicted because of it. Whereas when it comes to schools, mass shootings and school shootings generally, there are these massive events that harm so many different people all at once that it really shakes the whole country to its core. Where one black man gets shot in his backyard, I'll hear about it. Eventually, another black man will get shot, and that will take the stage. Whereas every single mass shooting just brings up more anger. These are just it's the same kind of thing. We protest, we wait, the officer doesn't get indicted, and then it happens again. And it keeps on happening over and over again in the cycle. And it's been like this for years, and it hasn't changed at all.
What exactly, what needs to change?
What needs to change? Well, first of all, what needs to change is police relations to communities. Police have to actually understand the communities that they're in. They have to build relationships with the communities, so that way there's trust between both officers and the communities that they police. When you build trust between these officers and these communities, it's less likely for hostile interactions such as these to keep on occurring. And when officers do draw their weapon, or when they do fire, you can be more certain that they're firing at someone who's actually a threat and not an innocent, unarmed man.
Can you identify with Stefan at all?
Personally, I've never actually been frisked by the police, never been searched by the police, but just as a black man, I can identify with them.
Great. Thank you so much.
Wow. I just feel really bad for the young black people, and they were very young. I mean, he looked like 19. I just I don't know what happened to people's ability. You know, I would not be. I'm really angry. I'm not black. I'm really angry. I'm really outraged at these people. They seem to have like Botox or something. It's just this is very, very, I mean, beyond unacceptable. And to have an action that, you know, where all I see is people like, mwah, mwah, oh yeah, woo, yes. It was I mean, it really looked very phony. It looked, you know,
a conversation in the first place. People's lives are over, that people are seeking profit over humanity. That's just how America is right now. What do we want? Shut him down! To jail. The whole damn system is guilty.
Like there was a lot of focus on a lot of you know, gay people, which I mean now they call themselves queer people. I mean, you know, the Honorable Malcolm X said, you know, racism is like a Cadillac. Every year they come out with a new model. So I really feel like this is racism because they picked and choose you know, for the most part of this is you know, I hadn't seen what I just showed you. I hadn't seen it before. I saw some Beckys. They was just like, oh yeah, we're outraged. We're like whatever. But I mean, I feel like the reporter, was not really asking, especially she interviewed a lot of white girls. But I feel like it should be like, why are you here? Why are you here today? Why are you like whatever, And I'm willing to bet that they didn't know what it was there. It's like, yeah, another black man got shot and it was horrible, and that's it. I mean, this is like, by the way, I was showing you the paper. Dr. Umar Johnson posted this today. I just go like, I thought it was, an old paper, and I was walking in the street, and it was just like, and 8 times from the back. 8 times from the back. I want to look it up. This article. I just want to read it, and I'm going to close with that. I mean, I'm gonna go look at the hashtag. I want to look at the hashtag. Oh, Stephen Clark, and I'm just gonna read a couple of tweets, and then whatever come up. Well, Sean King, just from the Daily News, just posted that 3 hours ago. A Sacramento police car just speeds up to hit a protester with his squad car just now. I'm not gonna play the video. It was I don't know how to share my screen. I mean, I wish I knew. I'm trying to learn how to share my screen so people don't have to be like, again, they post at a vigil for Stephon Clark in Sacramento tonight. A sheriff car just sped off and hit a protester. This is what I was so terrified, when I saw the protest, because all these motorcycles, they was like speeding. And I was like, they're going to run somebody over. And it happened tonight in Sacramento. It was really scary. And it seemed like, if I was them, I would have come out the next day and file police complaints. I would have filed. There was a lot of mishandling. Oh, what are you doing, David? You're just restless. Oh, the full moon. I think it's a full moon. So it was a lot of violations. It was a lot. At one point, I don't know why, there was a young black girl walking in the opposite direction with a sign. I don't know why she was doing that. And then in a second, it was like 4 motorcycles from the NYPD. And it was a standoff, which for me, it seemed like it was eternal. But I'm sure it was only a few seconds. And she couldn't even move, I think, because if she moved, I'm glad she didn't move, because then the other one could have come. I was just like, if any of these motherfuckers had pressed the accelerator or something, they would have killed her. And it was like nothing. It was like nothing. It was unreported. I see the video from BuzzFeed, and they reported that it was peachy, that nothing happened. Everything was great. Everything was like always, and I mean, that shit is fucked up, to say the least. I mean, there was so much, and then they started like giving punches. I had to run because we became like into a funnel, because it was some scaffolding in a construction site, and that's when there was like 10 police men, they came with the motorcycles, and then they start punching them. They started punching them, and I ran off because I'm undocumented, and I didn't know if it was pepper spraying people too. It was like, I was like, you know, I felt like, you know, it was more important to take video of, you know, whatever was happening. And unfortunately, there was nobody taking video. I didn't even see BuzzFeed, to tell you the truth. I saw at least 10, 15 photographers. But I thought that what we really needed to have is like, you know, like 100 people with HD 4K cameras recording everything, because those are like lawsuits. Those are lawsuits. That's illegal. That's all the shit that they did was illegal. All the shit was uncalled for. All the shit was like, you know, I mean,
it looks like one of the organizer leaders were arrested by the police. And then now it looks like the protest has split up into a couple small contingents, and I am hopefully.
It didn't. I saw it didn't split up. It's just some people that got behind, and BuzzFeed was very behind. That's why she reported a totally different thing.
As well. But yeah, right now it seems to be only about like 50 people.
That's not true. It was not 50 people. It ended up it ended up in Times Square, you know, where they have the red staircases. It ended up with like 200 and something. It was not 50 people. Yeah, before I start like reading, when you're looking for something you never find.
Basically, we need less policing in Black people of color communities. We need better educational systems.
I will keep you away from the mic.
Less segregated schools. We need. What else do we need, Ellen? We need all. We want all the things.
Do you think this whole talk about gun violence and gun control should extend to the police?
Absolutely.
Do you think it's been missing from the conversation?
Absolutely, because people of color are more likely to die by gunfire at police hands than any other community, and that's a problem in this country.
Abolition. There's no talk about, you know, abolition. You find a lot of, you know, police reform. I mean, even Sean King is still like, you know, oh, they need more training. Then, you know, as if they don't have like billions of dollars worth of training, de-escalation trainings. I mean, every possible training. They refuse to see that they are like, you know, the KKK and the police is the same. I mean, the main people who are running the show, you know, and it's them. So it's just that, I don't know. Yeah, I could not find some of them, of those interviews that I was looking for. There was some like really, I mean, she interviewed all these white people, and I mean, I don't understand why, you know, and most of the people, they seem like very, very, I mean, like she's smiling right now, like I'm seeing it, she's smiling the whole way. I understand, you know, everybody want to have a career and stuff, so she did very well, you know, it come to that, you know, because she did not report anything, you know, and the camera, it's like whoever is having the camera is like pointing mostly to white people all the time. Like I get the impression like they're trying to make it like this is a big breakthrough because we have all these great white people here joining us. But what I saw, and what I'm saying, what I saw it was very opportunistic. It was taking selfies, you know, like every 5 minutes, everything, like they would come like, you know, oh, take us as a selfie. And it was like, oh yeah, it was like, I don't know, it was oh yeah, like so excited. Oh my gosh, like, you know, I got arrested the other day, I got whatever. And it's just like very, very empty. And now, especially now that that we see that, you know, he was shot in the back. It just adds, you know, another layer to the whole thing. Where is the article? Let me look it up really quick. Yeah, they have a lot of more, you know, protester hit by the police. Yeah, it's not surprising. You know, this has been going on. Every protest, they have all these motorcycles speeding like if it's empty. Yeah. Okay, so we have
two of his brothers.
We have this is Stephon Clark's aunt, and let's see what it says.
Talk to you all today about something that you are seeing in the media, but rarely is touched upon. His brother Stevante is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Stevante has lost two of his brothers. I was over at Stefan's gravesite yesterday, where he is buried on top of his 19-year-old brother. Stevante has lost his older brother. He has lost his baby brother. And he is losing some of his mind. And while everyone has something to say, while everyone wants to talk negative, this is why this baby says we need a resource center. Where are the mental health professionals in our community?
Wow. I mean, that's something that devastates me. I mean, like, I really, you know, from my Black friends, they all lost so many people, uncles, brothers, you know. I don't think there's a you know, from my Black friends that have not buried their family to police brutality. It says over here too that the police, they just donated $13,000 to the DA's, Sacramento's DA's re-election campaign. I mean, can you believe that? I mean, it's just, he's doing such a great job for them. They get rewarded, you know. It's just like, but there's no conversations about that. I guess I have to Google it specifically because it's not coming out. I thought I had it right here, but it was not. I wanted to read the daily news because it's from here, from New York City, and I don't know any other media in but Sean King is not publishing the daily news, so I wonder why, you know. Hundreds more, no. Yeah, I don't know why it's not here. It's only in the newspaper. Okay, here it is, I think. I found it. Independent autopsy shows oh, no video, please. They're gonna play the video. They do what they do. Oh, there's a real video.
He received some.
What happened?
From his back.
Not interested.
That is Dr. Bennett Omalu discussing his autopsy of Stephon Clark's body this morning. Going into the autopsy, we knew Sacramento police shot at Clark 20 times. We now know bullets struck his body 8 times.
Thanks for joining us on this Good Friday afternoon. I'm Bethany Crouch. The press conference with Dr. Omalu and Stephen Clark's family and his legal team wrapped up in the last hour. CBS 13's Mark Thompson was at the press conference. He joins us live with the latest. Mark, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. That press conference wrapping up. Just a short what from that independent autopsy conducted for the family is that Stephon Clark was hit by 8 bullets, a total of 8 bullets fired by Sacramento police, and as many as 7 of those bullets, according to this autopsy, striking Stephon Clark in the back. The family attorney for Stephon Clark, Benjamin Crump, outlined the results of the independent autopsy. Dr. Bennett Amalu took 3 hours, he says, to conduct the autopsy and demonstrated with graphs his findings that Clark was hit a total of 8 times by bullets fired from 2 Sacramento police officers nearly 2 weeks ago. 6, they say, hit Clark directly in the back, another bullet from the back and side. The officers firing as many as 20 shots during the incident, thinking Clark had a gun. It turns out he was unarmed, found only with a cell phone. Police suspected Clark had been breaking into cars in the area before the chase ensued and the fatal shots were fired. Crump spoke about the findings that most of the shots hit Clark in the back.
It's very simple. The narrative that had been put forth was that they had to open fire because he was charging at them. Well, obviously, based on Dr. Malu's findings and the family's autopsy, it suggests all the bullets were from behind.
And you could hear there Attorney Crump saying that the results of this independent autopsy contradict what Sacramento police have been saying. Now, the results of the official autopsy conducted by the county coroner, those have not been released yet. I've also been in contact with Sacramento police, and they say they will have a response to this independent autopsy and the results that Clark was shot in the back coming out very soon. We've been, again, in touch with them by the hour, and we'll let you know when they release that statement and what comes out of that when it all comes down.
All right, Mark Thompson reporting live for us this afternoon from South Sacramento. Mark, thank you. The autopsy results just released hours before the Sacramento Kings and Black Lives Matter are scheduled to host a forum for Black communities in Sacramento. They will discuss the Clark shooting as well as the Kings' new partnership with the Build Black Coalition. That's scheduled to start tonight at 5 p.m. at South Sacramento Christian Church. Retired King and warrior Matt Barnes calling for a march in honor of Stephon Clark. Barnes tweeted that he is spearheading a march for action tomorrow before the Kings and Warriors play at Golden One Center. The tweet says to meet at Cesar Chavez Plaza at noon Saturday.
Wow. Stephon Clark, an unarmed Sacramento man, father of 2, killed by police in his grandmother's backyard last month.
At noon.
They're repeating it. Sorry. Was shot from behind 6 times, according to an independent autopsy released Friday. We just heard they're trying to drive you crazy, right? The video say 7 times. The newspaper said 8 times. You see the number 8 over here. And now that you read, it said 6 times, according to an independent autopsy released Friday. 2 more bullets hit the 22-year-old father in the leg and the arm. March 18. Wounds inflicted by police who said they were hunting for a neighborhood vandal, which until these days like is the most bogus shit. Where is it? Where's the vandal at? You know, and you know, like Ms. Wanda Sykes said, you know, even if he was smashing cars, you know, you still don't have the right to kill nobody. You know, cars are no more important than people, ever, ever. Two more bullets hit the 22-year-old father in the leg now on March 18th. Why do they say it was last month? I don't understand. It's like this writing is just really. First they say last month, now they say in the 18th. In police accounts, cops said that Clark, whose death prompted major protests. Major protests in across the country have been facing them and holding an object extended in front of him. That object was later determined in the cell phone. So why are you shouting from the back? It's lies. You keep repeating lies and lies. The autopsy said that he got shot from the back, 8 shots in the back. How can you be charging at them in reverse with a gun in reverse? You're going to be like, with a gun like this. Wow. I mean, crackers got zero credibility, zero. And you still, you know, the findings from independent coroner Dr. Bennett Amalu, hired by the Clark family, sharply contradicts the cops' version of the events, that he was assailing the officers, meaning he was facing the officers, is inconsistent with the prevailing forensic evidence. As documented in the autopsy, Amalu said at a Friday press conference, the episode that robbed Clark of his life began with the police investigating 3 broken car windows in the neighborhood. All right, so there was 3 broken car windows. A dispatcher told the officers that the vandals may have been holding a toolbar. A police helicopter saw Clark vaulting a neighborhood's fence into his grandparents' backyard and alerted police on the ground. That's where cops closed him in. The officers ducked behind the house as one shouted, "Show me your hands, gun." That's not true, because, you know, I saw that's a lie. That's a biggest lie, because the grandparents, they was right there in the house. They never heard anything from the police saying, like, you know, hands up or anything, or surrender. Nothing. They just shot and shot him from behind like cowards. That's what the crackers are, a bunch of cowards, pieces of shit. They need guns. They need anything, because they ain't shit. They know that that's the only way they can win, by playing dirty. Well, let's hear Estevante.
The chief of police got my brother killed. Enough. Here. He shows no emotion at all. At all. And y'all get mad. I'm not crying on Y'all love me? I said, do y'all love me? I grew up in a city and in a neighborhood where grandma's backyard was a sacred place. But I never ever thought that I would die in my grandma's backyard. My grandson was 23 years old. And then my great-grandmother said, never daddy. Because they didn't even say, why do you shoot him in the arm, shoot him in the leg, send a dog, send a taser? Why? Why didn't have to do that?
Everything is falling on us, and then on top of this, you're killing us. You're killing us. It's genocide. It feels like genocide.
When they put this music and they just put, like, you know, there's another video.
From post-traumatic stress disorder. Stevante has lost 2 of his brothers.
Yeah, that's the same. The aunt speaking.
For a killing, but that's what it takes.
Let's play it again. Oh, come on.
Come together for a killing, but that's what it takes. But then also to address the bigger problem too, and I'm not naive to it, is the black on black crime. That's a big part of it. If we don't respect ourselves, why is anyone else going to respect us? We out here killing each other every
stop. You know, I don't know how much he got paid. I don't know who he is. He's speaking at a rally, of course. NBC, they featured that. I mean, they refuse to talk about, you know, how, you know, violence and poverty go hand in hand. That's what they will never denounce, you know, the feminists. They blame men, they blame themselves, but, you know, they don't blame capitalism that, you know, makes everybody a target. You know, it's like alcoholism, capitalism. Yeah, they say $13,000. Wow, they pick the right time to come out with the black on black shit every time. I mean, the crackers are showing off, and this is where the, you know, every time they say, "Oh, not all whites." All right, show me those not all whites. Show me those not all whites that, you know, because they should be like taking their own trash out. They refuse to do that. They just absolutely refuse to do that. So yeah, they have over here the Alton Sterling videos that for some reason they was not put in the trial. I don't know. I haven't really read that part. It's just beyond insane. You know, I mean, like, you know, meanwhile you have like, you know, Facebook, who lost control of 15 million 50 million users data to Cambridge Analytica, who weaponized it in the 2016 elections. And now Cambridge Analytics is in my country doing the same thing. They put hotspots in the most impoverished neighborhoods. They put it like, and they make him like do all these things, you know, what you like, what you don't like, and at the same time they steal all the contacts information. So it is amazing, and there's no, I mean, the fake outrage that there is right now about Facebook, but they should be like, shut it down. You know, why are you? I mean, Mark Zuckerberg made billions of dollars out of us. I mean, that's beyond fraud. But crackers, they get away with murder every day, you know. And also, Facebook have been freely given back data to ICE immigration without a warrant. I don't believe it's been free, because Jewish, they don't do shit for free, you know. So, but okay, so it's right here what they say from the slate. Facebook have been monitoring private calls and text of Android users. And oh, I don't have anything more. To change their endorsement from the Republican DA, who supports horrible criminal justice policies, to a progressive Democrat, Philip, for DA, who is Philip who? He don't even say his, oh, Noah Phillips. That's Sean King's choice, who will transform the justice system there from the inside out. Wow. He still believes in Santa Claus? So they've been wow. Oh, I thought that was 13,000. That BuzzFeed video. So I agree. It's agreeable.
They didn't have to shoot him any time. And the detectives that came in and kept telling me, don't go outside or go in the back. I said, well, what happened? I hope y'all didn't kill one of my grandkids because they come to the back door, I mean, to the window, and my husband just pulled the garage up. I said, he's at home. He was at home. He was there that day. We was looking at his sister dead through the place that she made up. He was crying. And I said, how old are you going to be? And he said, Grandma, I'll be 24 in August. My grandson was 23 years old. And then now he said, my great-grandbaby don't have their daddy. Because they didn't even stop. Why did you shoot him in the arm, shoot him in the leg, send a dog, send a taser? Why? Why y'all didn't have to do that? Y'all didn't have to. I want a cell phone. I just want justice for my grandson, for my daughter, my four babies. There's so much pain. She's in pain. And the brothers, he got my two brothers. Justice. I want justice for my baby. I want justice for Stephon Clark. Please give us justice.
It's just I'm really hoping that there will be like more actions that come from the people, not from these gay nonprofits, and that real actions, it's really bad. It's really bad. And instead of like, I think people are so traumatized that they lost already their ability to as a decision. Yeah, I guess that's it. I mean, like, here have one of those
police officers. Well, here's a few reasons. Juries often end up giving police officers the benefit of the doubt. If you watch the recently released dashcam footage, Philando Castillo was following the orders of Officer Geronimo Yanez when he was shot.
I have to tell you, I think that little firearm. Okay. Don't reach for it, then. Don't pull it out.
Castillo reached for his license while reassuring Yanez that he wasn't going for his gun. Yanez shot him anyway. The defense used the police officer's panic to illustrate a reasonable proof of fear, and that's all the jury needed to hear to acquit. In two separate court cases from the 80s, the Supreme Court ruled that officers are justified in using deadly force if they believe that there is an imminent threat to their life or the life of someone else.
The officers get on the witness stand and they testify that the only reason they shot was because they thought their life was in danger. They thought they didn't have another choice.
And those words alone are enough to end a trial. Police can also avoid a jury altogether and request to have only a judge hear their case. It's called a bench trial. And since 2005, not a single one has resulted in a guilty verdict.
It's usually cases that are very unseemly, where you don't have a very sympathetic defendant, and you just don't want to risk that, the high emotion type cases in front of a jury.
Take the trial of Michael Grillo. He was one of 13 officers who fired 137 rounds into a car, killing the unarmed occupants Melissa Williams and Timothy Russell. Grillo even reloaded and climbed onto the hood of the car to continue shooting after other officers had stopped. And a judge still found him not guilty of voluntary manslaughter. There's also no independent oversight on these cases. That means police officers are investigating each other. Take the case of Freddie Gray. He died of a severed spine after being arrested and transported in a police van. Police said Gray killed himself, but prosecutors say the police had given Gray a rough ride, were negligent in refusing to call for medical help when Gray asked for it, and impeded the investigation.
What we realized very early on in this case was that police investigating police was problematic. There was a reluctance and an obvious bias that was consistently exemplified at every stage of the investigation.
Charges for 3 of the 6 officers in that case were dropped.
The best estimate that I have is that between 900 and 1,000 times a year, a non-duty police officer in this country shoots and kills someone. And yet only a handful of those cases result in an officer actually being charged with murder or manslaughter.
These shootings are not going to stop as long as cops know that they can get away with them. So what will it take to start holding police accountable for their actions?
That was it. Wow. Yeah, the letter is very small. I cannot see anything. Unless I have more. They make all these articles and they put some stuff online, some on the newspaper. This is why sometimes you have to look at the website and you have to look at the newspaper. It's a totally different articles that they post. Video recorded by a department helicopter showed that police did not administer first aid right away, but handcuffed Clark. Oh gosh, let me read the whole article. Yeah, because it's not online, so you have to buy the newspaper. Stephon Clark, an unarmed Sacramento man killed by police in his grandmother's backyard last month. Was last month? Didn't they say the 18th? I don't know. Was struck 8 times with 5 bullets hitting him in the back, according to an independent autopsy released Friday. The other 3 rounds appear to have struck the 22. They don't even know the date. You know, his grandmother just said that he was 23. So I believe his grandmother. This kind of journalism, you know, I mean, they don't even got, this is today's paper, and they're still spreading lies. He was 23 years old. The other 3 rounds appear to have struck the 23-year-old father from the side, in the leg, neck, and ribs, as he went down. In police accounts, cops said that Clark, whose death prompted major protests across the country, had been facing them and holding an object extended in front of him. That holding an extended in front of him was, sorry, that object was later determined to be a white cell phone. If you see the video of the chase, he never held on front of him, nothing. The video's right there. The findings from the independent coroner, Dr. Bennett Amalu, hired by the Clark family, sharply contradict the cops' version of events, that he was assailing the officers, meaning he was facing the officers, is inconsistent with the prevailing forensic evidence, as documented in the autopsy. Amalu said at a Friday press conference, the episode that proved Clark, the episode that robbed Clark of his life began in the evening of March 18, So why they say last month? Oh, because we just turned April right now. Like 2 hours. Oh, okay. Now I get it. With the police investigating 3 broken car windows in the neighborhood, a dispatcher told the officer that the vandals may have been holding a toolbar. A police helicopter saw Clark vaulting a neighbor's fence into his grandparents' backyard and alerted police on the ground. That's where cops closed in on him. The officers ducked behind the house as one shouted, "Show me your hands, gun." Seconds later, the officer again shouts, "Show me your hands, gun." That's the grandparents say they didn't hear shit. This is lies. This is all lies. Then the officer unleashed 20 shot fusillade. I don't know how you pronounce that. One of the officers ordered the other to mute his body camera directly after the shooting. It looked like a gun from our perspective, the officer told his supervisor. No gun was found at the scene. Video recorded by a department helicopter showed that police did not administer first aid right away, but handcuffed Clark as he lay dying on the ground. The young man clung to life for 3 to 10 minutes. After bullets shattered bone, severed blood vessels, injuring his aorta and lodging in his spine, according to the family autopsy. Bastards. Shit. It was not an instantaneous death, Amalu said. A punctured lung and a major bleeding cut off air to Clark's brain, meaning he slowly lost the oxygen supply to his brain. The independent medical examiner said, every minute you wait decreases the probability to survival, Amalu said. The death sparked outrage across the Sacramento. The officers were placed on suspension immediately, and the local chapter of the NAACP questioned the police department's inconsistency. Yeah, they don't say they are put on paid leave. They're on vacation with our tax dollars. The Sacramento mayor called the death tragic and wrong, but stopped short of blaming officers. Of course, he's the mayor. He's in cahoots. Oh gosh, this damn hair. Sorry. I viewed the videos carefully. Based on the videos alone, I cannot second guess the split-second decision of our officers, and I'm not going to do that, he said. You're a son of a bitch. That's who you are. I'm like, a fucking monster. Are you gonna be like, I saw the videos. He seemed like he was just like surprised. It's like a fraction of a second from the moment they spotted him and the moment they shoot him. you know, and they have the helicopters. The helicopters should have been like saying, yelling, you know, please surrender, put your hands up, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they have lights, you know, I mean, Clark's family hired Amalu and the concussion doctor, one of the first physicians to draw attention to the long-term trauma caused by the head injuries in the NFL, because they say they had lost faith in the county and the police, shifting version of the events. Of course, they're a bunch of liars. Given the findings of our independent autopsy, we find that the truth is outrageous. He was shot almost entirely in the back, which contradicts their narrative that he was charging towards them when they operate. Ben Crump, who is representing the Clark family, told reporters Friday. This affirms that Stefan was not a threat to police and was slain in another senseless police killing under increasingly questionable, that's an understatement, questionable circumstances. Sacramento County Coroner Kim Jin determined Clark's cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds and listed his manner of death as a homicide. The coroner's office declined to comment on the exact number of times Clark was shot. The official report is not expected for another several weeks. Protests erupted after the police shutting down traffic and delaying the Sacramento Kings game against the Atlanta Hawks. Demonstrators held signs that read, "Sacramento PD, stop killing us." Protests were also held in Ferguson, Missouri, Milwaukee, New York, Baton Rouge, LA, where a white police officer was fired for shooting a black man during an arrest in 2016. The results of the independent autopsy came the day after Clark's funeral, which was attended by Reverend Al Sharpton. We are here to say we are going to stand with Stefan Clark and the leaders of his family. I'm sorry. This is about justice, Sharpton said. This is about standing with people with courage. Clark's brutal death echoed the police involvement shootings of multiple black men across America, including the 1999 killings in New York of Amadou Diallo. The unarmed African immigrant was standing in his Bronx vestibule with his wallet in his hand when NYPD officers fired 41 shots at him. No weapon was found in the scene, but cops said they thought his wallet was a gun. That's how stupid and fucking retarded these motherfuckers are. 13 years after Diallo's death, an unarmed teen, Trayvon Martin, was gunned down by a wannabe cop acting as an unauthorized neighborhood watchman. George Zimmerman said he killed the 17-year-old in self-defense, but it turned out that Trayvon Martin was carrying Skittles, not a gun. And again, he was running for his life. We've seen the audio, we heard the audio saying like, you know, they're saying, why are you chasing him? Why are you following him? You know, leave him alone. And still, they're blood suckers. They cannot live one day without killing and terrorizing. You know, their brain is getting fried because, you know, we are supposed to be like, you know, they're supposed to say, oh, you stop, whatever. And you're supposed to stop. You're supposed to do whatever the fuck they want. I went, you know, before I went to see the Black Panther movie, I went to Popeyes on 125th and St. Nicholas. And there was this black man minding his business. And the guy who is, you know, the I guess the security and do like cleaning service. He just called the police because they asked him to leave, and 7 cops showed up for one man. And the guy, you know, he didn't have nowhere to go, and it's just so devastating. You know, I love Harlem, but at the same time, it's just so devastating to see so many people in dire need of, you know, health care. I mean, health attention, medical attention, in dire need of, you know, so much, and you know, not getting it, and never getting it. You know, it's just, you know, you know, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And this is the time. Is there any decent European Americans, especially in this country? They need to show up, and you need to take your own fucking trash out. You need to be like, I'm just gonna put you the audio from Alton Sterling. That for some reason it was not in court. I haven't really read that. I mean, I read just part of it. I'm gonna say I've been having a lot of work, and just gonna put you the last part, when after they shoot him, they kill him. That's their MO. They say, oh, you know, you made me kill you. You made me kill you. They always say that. They always say that, you know. Oh, you don't want to play it? Why don't I want to play it? I have to put it on a different page. Okay. So, like I say, I just want to put the, oh, let me see.
Back on.
What you talking about?
Don't move, bro. Stop.
What I did?
I'm saying what I did. Don't move. I'll shoot your ass, bitch. Put your hands on the car. Put your hands on the car. I'm gonna shoot you in your head. You understand me? Don't you move. I'm gonna shoot you in your head. You hear me? Don't you move.
All right, hold up, man. You hurt my arm. I'm saying, what happened, man? Hold on, man.
Tase his ass. You on the ground. Stupid mother.
That's enough. So it confirms again, they are not a devil. They are the devil. I mean, you see that, you know, you gotta shut up. You gotta stay quiet because I said so. You gotta be like, I was Alton Sterling, last words that you heard. I skipped the whole shooting. And it's just terrifying, just the amount of these films. These are snuff films that they keep propagating, they keep putting everywhere. And in hopes that they will touch somebody, in hopes that they will like, and it's been just feeding their blood for thirst. That's how they get stronger, by killing. I'm not into like that shit, like, well, whatever, but it's just that they are like by any means necessary. That's what they're doing, by any means necessary, and just terrorizing, Black Americans in this country. It's just it's insane. It just well, there, we're so conflicted about talking about this again, and we're still talking about, and talking about Black Panther, the movie and stuff, just like, I hope this case will be different, but there's no evidence. There's no evidence to be saying that, oh, this case is gonna be different. They have had, plenty of evidence, videos. I mean, you saw this was the Alton Sterling. They was killing him. Right there when he was saying all those slurs, that should be guilty as fuck. That's a fucking hate crime. It's a fucking hate crime. It was like, no, don't move, because I said so, I'm going to remind you that cracker is not a slur. That's the way they want to be addressed. Like, they might say that they don't want to be addressed by that, but they want to still, they still want to be seen as the whip cracker. And it should be called that, because, and it should be put like on blast. It's 2018. You go crack your whip in your damn house. You ain't gonna be cracking no whip anywhere else. Anyway, until next time, I'm just like, and like I said before, don't be afraid to use his hashtag. I see a lot of this stuff they're not using justice for Stephon Clark. They're not using justice for Alton Sterling. They're not even using the Alton Sterling, Stephon Clark hashtags. They're not even using NYPD. I mean Sacramento police. They have to put, every time you publish Sacramento police, they got to be like 10 million tweets a day talking about these criminals, the Sacramento police, and the ones in Baton Rouge. Salami, whatever his name is. So I don't know. It's the definition of insanity. Doing things, the same way over and over again and expecting different results. That's just plain stupid, But I'm gonna leave it at this. I'm gonna leave it at that, and have a good night, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you was watching live, they don't tell me nothing. I only got one comment, and now that comment is even gone. I don't know. I think they erased the comment for whatever the reason. So it is what it is. There's a lot of policing, for being America the free, America the this, America the that. That's not the case. So what is this? I don't know. Have a good night, everybody. Let's not, we have an independent autopsy in this case, which is not as common. So let's use that. And, this is where, the United Nations need to be pronouncing when all these human rights, oh no, but they go like talking about animal rights, the fucking PETA and all that fucking bullshit. I just block everybody. We start pulling about it. Look at the dog. Look at the puppy. I don't give a fuck about your damn fucking animals. you know, until we start respecting human beings, you know, it's just good night.